Making symmetrical shapes with leather is hard. If you want to improve this skill or love to create something unique with leather, this video is for you. You could get 3 things through my process. The first is why you have to make the sample first. The second is how to set up the initial point to match the original shape. The third is why you need this gauge. Let's start with the first one. Here's my sample. You might think this step is a waste of time, but the truth is it's necessary. Because leather is a natural material with different characteristics. Without a sample right in front of you, you can never make the 2 final arms exactly the same. More importantly, it can help you to avoid the potential issues. For example, my thought was to divide it into 3 parts, which were connected with wooden sticks, and install the leather bone inside. But when sample completed, it clearly told me that, no, it doesn't work. So finally, 2 benefits you can get. First, the sample could prove if your thought could be fulfilled or not. This step allowed me to stop immediately. The second, it forces you to not only walk on the right path, but directs you to think deeper. And thus brings us to the second point today. How to set up the initial point to match the original shape. This template is the locator of the upper inner arm. This hole is not only for connecting the body later, but also the initial point of the arm. Because the arm has no straight lines to reference, if you cannot find an absolute solid starting point, all your measurement later will go wrong. This smaller one is the locator of the wrist. The concept is exactly the same. And by connecting them, we can think of the arm as an irregular cylinder. Once you have this concept, all you need to know is how to execute it and standardize it. And that brings us to the third point today, why you need this gauge. Before making the symmetrical arms, the first thing is to replicate the sample to make the first one. My method is to quickly remove the extra leather, but you must never sand past the lines. After that, I sand the armor further based on the irregular cylinder logic I mentioned earlier. The goal is to make the transition look more natural. But here's the question. How do you measure the curvature of the sample exactly? I use this contour gauge. You just press it onto the shape, and it gives you the reference outline. Instantly, you have a guide. When you put it against the arm you are making, you can see right away where it's too thick or too flat. You can use this tool to make any measurement at any position you want to compare, and it's very easy to buy online. At this point, all the main technical points are covered, but as you know, the most interesting part of the leather crafting is not just the rational standard for precision, but also trusting your intuition. So I will put the arm back onto the whole body to observe. You might find that the back of the shoulder is still a bit too thick. So focus all your attention on that spot, sand it and compare it. This is how I get an exact replica. The other arm follows the same logic. The only difference is the sanding direction is completely reversed, which feels a bit awkward. You just need a few minutes to adapt to it, that's all. For the final stage of my work, I always rely on intuition. At the very end, I use a homemade mini sanding stick. It's simply sandpaper wrapped around the chopstick. Because the inner curve of the arm is too small, so you can only refine the details through the touch of your fingertips and close observation. This is a real key to make them great. Look at this comparison again. Isn't perfect? If you can follow these 3 steps, making a sample, find reference points, and using a contour gauge, making symmetrical shapes will no longer be a mystery. If you still have any question about the whole process, leave a comment below. In the next episode, I will share how to use a super cheap homemade CMC gel and hardener to burnish and polish, give the leather this premium natural shine. See you next time.